Surely America is one of those places a lot of people go because there's the big, best PR, baby, American dream. Come to the American dream. Anyone could make it. So this thing, and I think a lot of people get here and be like, oh, this is not what the dreams. Hey, hold on, there's a lot of hidden fees in this American dream.
Familia, welcome back to the second season of NILC's Freedom to Thrive podcast. Resistance, justice, resilience, where we have beautiful conversations with beautiful folks talking about how to survive, thrive, and get through these times, because these are some wild times. Today we're going to have a conversation with Brother Rajawala from NILC, who's going to talk about their work. But before we do that, we have a special guest today. I'm really excited. I know who this brother is. He don't know who I am, but I know who he is, man. Comedian, writer, producer, actor. I'm so excited to bring him out here. The Habibi from Houston, El Oso Peligroso, the Palestinian Prince, man, the one and only. Everybody give it up for the homie, Mo Amer, in the house, everybody. Hey.
Thank you so much for
Brother
having me.
Mo, it's good to have you here, man.
Man, thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure, and probably might be the best intro of all time. The
El
Palestinian
Oso
Prince.
Peligroso, the Palestinian Prince, bro. What you think about that? And Habibi from Houston, bro.
Come on,
You know what I mean?
sounds like my tombstone.
I would say the first time I saw you, I think I'd seen some videos circulating around with like Dave Chappelle and you were telling stories about being in New York and ended up in like a dorm room with some college kid. You telling that story was the first time I was introduced to you, right? As a storyteller, as a comedian. Then the next thing, I'm watching TV and there's a show called Rami, which I think was one of the best TV shows ever written, in my opinion. And you were one of the characters.
Yes.
And you were amazing. Your character is amazing in that show. And then I find out that Rami's friend, who was part of that show, actually they co-wrote a new show called Mo.
Yeah.
And that show, bro, was groundbreaking. That show, your first season on that, amazing. And on multiple levels. The rawness, the humor. I think it was the first, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first major series to star a Palestinian refugee as the
No,
main
it's for
character.
100% the first ever created by a Palestinian and first ever narrative sitcom to be ever filmed in Houston as well. Prior to that, Houston has never had a narrative sitcom filmed, being the fourth largest city in America, being one of the most diverse
Yeah.
cities in America. It was always like a shocking thing to me. And I was always a little irritated because everyone who made it from Houston, there's some massive, massive stars that have come out from Houston. They don't live here anymore. They like move. And I'm like, yo, Houston's dope. Like Houston needs to have
Yeah.
a show that's, Houston is essentially a character within the show. So when I wrote this series, when I started writing the series in 2014, this is when I had this idea, is to put this show together. And it was Chappelle who inspired me to write the show, the series Mo. And it was very much based on my life and my experiences as a refugee in America, as I call myself a privileged refugee. As you see, a lot of there's a huge scale of experiences from what a refugee can go through, and I'm clearly one of those extremely lucky ones that my mom and father were able to, get me to a place where I can progress and have some semblance of a future. And it really shaped my entire life and
Yeah.
inspired me to be a comedian, a writer, and a director, and an actor. And this is what, those experiences is what led up to that.
And you know what? Being on the Rami show, and did Rami help? Did Rami helped? Was he a co-writer on this or
So
no?
he was a co-creator on the show. So the
He's a
way it
co-creator
works
on the
is that
show.
Rami and I met in like 2014, and I was touring with Dave at the time, and he wanted to do a show with me. He's like, Mo, we should do a show together. This is way before, the show Rami or anything like that. And I was very much like, no, I want to follow the traditional route. I want to put out a stand-up special first. That stand-up special will introduce me to the world, and then from there I'll do the show. And when I was touring with Dave, he inspired me to write the the opening. He said to me after I opened him, he said, "Man, if you do like a short film at the top of your stand-up special, it would be so cool." And I was like, short film, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And for a week straight, I was
Yeah.
up listening to like music, because music is very inspirational to me in writing and visualizing the whole scene. And then boom, it hit me, and I wrote the whole thing out, and I showed it to Dave, and Dave was like, "This is genius. You need to
Got to
save
do
this.
it.
You need to save it for a TV show." So when I told Ram, I was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait, and then we can maybe do something together in the future." You know. So he went on. He took that, and he went on. He was inspired, and he made Rami, and then he asked me to be a part of his show, which I was like, "Oh, this is." I'm very excited to do that. Let's get in and make that happen. Actually, because he made me watch this, be like, "Bro, I begged you to do this," because I was like, I want to be real. I want to be real. So I really was interested in doing the show. I really wanted to do the show. I just think it's important to like. I'm very protective. Like I think it's one of those things, and there's a lot of artists that are massive artists that have said the same things. Like once you start orbiting around each other, the ideas become like one.
Yeah.
So since I wanted to do the show, I was just very protective of both of us, not just my ideas, but also Rami's
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to be individual. Like, yo, you do your thing, and I'll come support that. So once I was like, yeah, that would be amazing. Let's do this together. And then once we all worked together, he was just like, bro, you have to do your show. This is gonna be so dope. Your story is crazy. You got to put this out. And I was like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yes, you're right. So that's how
Bro,
that's how it came together. But Rami
and I love.
very much trusted me. Like he knows like that I know the story. This is my life, and this is what it is. So it was just like let me run with it, and not even let me run with it. He knows that part of a great team is like you got to know who's going to play the best position for all of us to win, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes like for his show, I was there for him. I was running back. I was wide receiver. It was like, what do you need me to do? I'm just here to win the championship. Let's go win the championship. And then for my show, he was like, you're running quarterback. This is your show. Run quarterback, and that's what it was like. So that's how it ran. It was a beautiful thing. And second season to me is one of the greatest seasons of television. Period. Like
Bro,
objectively.
we're gonna get
Yeah,
there. We're gonna get there.
objectively, bro.
I
Objectively, 100%.
Yeah. No, bro. I mean, all around. But I will say, after seeing your first season, then I just wanted. I'm like, who is this guy, right? So then I went back and I saw all your specials, and I saw your first special that you put out, and I was just like, yo, one is because Arab homies and like Mexican homies, we look like cousins, bro.
Yeah.
Right? I went to Morocco in January,
Mhm.
and like I was kicking it with just my cousins. You know what I mean? Like
I
everybody,
just
right?
got back
And
from
I
there. I couldn't agree with you more. I just literally got back
do
from there
right.
like a week ago. Yeah.
And then and then I found out how to say like every time I meet homies like in Spanish, I tell them, hey, what's up, guapo? I just be hey, good looking. And
Yeah.
over there you say zwin. Hey, my zwin, my zwin. You know what I mean? So every homie, every good looking homie, I'd be like, hey, my zwin. They'd be like, hey, hey,
That's
like
so-
it was mad love, bro. It was mad love.
yeah, they were
You
great.
know, and your first special, you really talked about how like you how you connected with the Mexican community, with the Latino community,
Big time.
and it was amazing. And then when you did your special, in your show, your partner is a Latina woman, right? Your
Yeah.
best friend is a black homie, is an African homie, and the fact that like for you, was that always the thing? Like, I'm gonna make sure shit's hella diverse. Because a lot of times people be like, they'll make a Mexican show and it's only Mexicans, right? They'll do a white show, only white folks, right? It's a black show, mostly black. And you came in, bro. You're like your partner's Latina, your homie's black, and you're in a mixed community with your Palestinian family.
Widely
Like, was that
diverse.
always a thing?
It might be the most diverse show like ever made. Maybe I don't even know. Like the cultures represented were pretty solid. Now there's a lot of creators and whatnot, and people in the industry. They're like, we have to. There's like a quota. Yeah. To me, it's always the story. You know,
Yeah,
if it's all black folks, it's fine. If it's all white folks, it's fine.
yeah,
It just depends on what environment. Like Friends, for instance, you know what that is. You know what neighborhood that is. But if you're in my barrio, you're in Houston. You're in Southwest Houston. There's no way you don't have a diverse friend group. It's an impossibility for you to have a non-diverse. If you don't have a diverse friend group, you're probably really racist. It's very, very hard, and I don't think that it exists in Southwest Houston. Like, it's more
Yeah.
just cultural things. Like, everyone's next to each other in Southwest, in SWAT. Like, everyone. There's no zoning in Houston, so you literally have, like, a corner store that's owned by Arabs. The next spot is an African hair supply. The next spot is a fast food Chinese spot. The next spot is a Vietnamese spot. Then the next is
Yeah.
a Vietnamese, salon. And then next to that is like African foods and goods. And the next to that is a halal place. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. This is not something that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just making up right now. Again, I think it's very, very important when you're making any story is to be authentic to the location itself as well. Surely it relates to my friend group, so it's extremely diverse. It comes from many different backgrounds. I mean, the homies that I grew up with, my dear, dear friends that I've known since I was like 9 years old, that we're friends to this day, and of course you build off of that. But my high school peoples, it's a very mixed. It's like one is Italian, two from India, two
Yeah.
Argentinians. One half Persian, half white. One half Iraqi, half white. Black folks from various backgrounds. Of course, Nigeria and Nigerians. There's a big population of Nigerians in Houston, so it's like friends are from Nigeria. It's just that's what it is. And of course, the Latino homies, like, bro, you can't even count that. You're in Houston, bro. Like, I don't even know how to, how many Mexican friends do I have? I don't know, 100. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like we don't even count. Like, this whole thing is like ridiculous. Like, we're all mixed. Houston is a very diverse place, and we're all one family in H Town. That's how we feel here.
And you did that, bro. And I just want to say you did that. And not everybody does that. And
Yeah.
that for me, as someone like I seen that, I felt seen. I'm like, yo, this homie is creating the world that like I live in and or that I want to live in, that I want to be a part of. Like, and not everybody does that, man. You know what I mean? And so one is I know you had a crazy upbringing, brother. Like so for like, was it born in Kuwait,
Yep.
right? Palestinian parents, migrated to the US. Um, how was that? One, how was the transition language wise, culturally, right? And then how did that shape you and even your comedy now, bro?
Um, You touched on a lot of things. Number one, I went to a British English school in Kuwait. My father was very thoughtful about education, was really prepping me. Like, he had a really solid eye for that. He knew that it was heading in that direction and he has to learn English. And I had two older brothers that are already studying in America. So he knew that for me to get a higher education, for me to, in a new modern world, like, English is going to be very important. Obviously, Arabic was spoken in the household and I spoke Arabic fluently and still do to this day. It's the English, right? So he prepped me for that. But there was a big difference from British English that I learned from American English, and then there's social and cultural dynamics that I had no clue on. So needless to say, I was a big target when I first came to the States.
and then there's Houston English. You know
And
what I
then
mean? There's
there's,
like Houston
yeah,
English.
exactly. That's what I mean by the cultural stuff. Like, there's so many things that are going on that I don't understand. I mean, I got to the States and 2 days later, Halloween happened. Do you understand how terrifying it is if you don't know that Halloween exists? And then an extremely innocent child, and then all of a sudden you walk outside and everyone's dressed like demons and ghosts and skeletons and strippers, and I've never even seen cleavage. You know what I mean? Like, you understand how insane that is? I was like, we came to hell. We came to hell. My parents don't know. They sent me to hell. That's what's happening here. I mean, there was kids like dragging me and trying to drag me in the bathroom to summon Bloody Mary. I'm like, who the fuck is Bloody Mary? Who is
Oh
he?
my goodness, bro.
Why are you guys summoning demons in the mirror? This is crazy. So it's that, So it was really, really tough in the beginning. But then when it came down to sports, I really excelled at it. When they saw me throw a football, I became pretty cool right away. When they saw me
There it is, bro.
dunk that football 50 yards in sixth and seventh grade, they were like, "What the hell?" It was seventh grade, PE, where they were having throwing kind. I was like, "Yo, this guy is cool." Yeah, I caught up pretty quickly, but it was one of those things. There was a ton to catch up on.
Yeah, man. And I
And it wasn't the best neighborhood too. It wasn't quickly, just it wasn't the best neighborhood too. And I confused the hell out of Mexicans and black folks. So I had a whole situation where Mexicans thought I was Latino, and then black folks thought I was Latino, and I wasn't either. And then there was like a whole struggle to adjust for this person that they don't know. And unfortunately,
I
what they've
know.
perceived and what they do know about Arabs or Arab culture, unfortunately, was shaped by cinema or cartoons, and it wasn't a favorable,
Yeah.
you know. So there was one of those things. But we made lemonade. We definitely made lemonade.
Yeah, you made lemonade, bro. And and I want to kind of go back to even the show, what you did so well, and you brought humor and pain and vulnerability to the show is really about the complexity of the immigration system, right? Because right now, one of the main narratives you hear now is like, just come in the right way. Why can't people just come in the right way? If they just came in the right way, then you'd be cool. And your show really showed the complexity and absurdity, right, of what the right way means, what the right way looks like,
Hmm.
and for you, why was that important to show, and how, putting that together, what did you want to showcase?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, right? This whole idea of the right way that doesn't really exist. Unfortunately, the system is set up for you to. The system is almost set up for you to like not do the right thing to get the right thing. You
Mm,
know, it's like it's almost set up that way. It wants you to fail. It's very, very hard to go through the asylee process. And people don't even know what that means. Asylum, when you're
yeah,
coming, they think you just, they don't understand what that concept is. They don't even know what the word means. And it's those that seek asylum usually are leaving countries they can no longer live in, whether they're for political persecution or because of war or anything that falls under those categories. Then you can file asylum for any country, most countries around the world. And surely America is one of those places a lot of people go because there's the big, best PR, baby, American dream. Come to the American dream.
yeah,
Anyone could make it.
mm,
So this
yeah.
this thing, and I think a lot of people get here and be like, oh, this is not what the dreams. Hey, hold on, there's a lot of hidden fees in this American dream. uh, so yeah. I wanted to make sure that I just I wanted to make sure that I show what it really takes to become a citizen, how hard it is, and basically it puts you in a situation where you have to work your ass off and truly earn it.
Yeah,
And if you're lucky enough to even get that asylum granted, if you get your asylum, you still have to wait, 5 years before you can get your green card, and then you have to wait another 5 years, actually 4 years and like 9 months, unless the laws change, to apply for your citizenship. So it took us 10 years to get our asylum granted, and then for a lot of
yeah,
complexities and a lot of life things that happened that kept delaying things, and then so when we got our asylum granted, it took me another almost 10 years to get the actual passport. And that whole
yeah,
time you're living on eggshell. You're walking on eggshells because you're just like so worried because they could take anything away from you at any time. So you're not really settled, right? It's a
yeah.
very vulnerable place to be in. And it's a really, really tough battle to go through. And my heart is just, broken over what's happening today. It's just really disheartening.
Yeah. I want to say, so this episode might come out. This episode might come out, maybe I think at the end of the month. But I do want to ask, we just had an election where you had Mamdani win in New York, right? And now you have the first South Asian Muslim homie, progressive. I want to know, like, how does that make you
Communist,
feel? What's your
damn
feeling?
communist, you know what I mean? They're just taking over America, these socialists, communists. You just come here to America, just taking over a big apple. Oh, that's all right. Of course it was New York. New York, the only damn place it will happen to you, damn near won't happen here. You come on down to Texas, you look for a damn Muslim. You ain't gonna find one here in Houston. Bro, it's so ridiculous. First of all,
Oh, bro.
you know, congratulations to Mamdani, and like what a tremendous step forward, and like just like any other politician, people should hold him accountable, and hopefully that he can be supported and get those ideas out. I'm very, very
Yeah, man.
proud of him. I think it was a really disgusting what he's dealt with, like in the tabloids and with the newspapers, how they paint him out to be. I think it's really, really just widely open, like accepted racism that's just flying out there. It's pretty gross, and it just lets you know. And that's New York City. That's supposed to be, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
this is we're liberals, man. Like
The
we
epicenter of
get it.
civilization.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
supposed to be the place where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
we accept everyone. It's different. No, no, y'all racist out there. Okay, y'all very racist. Maybe more racist than Houston. Or I don't think Houston is as
Woo!
racist.
Like
I'm
that,
dead serious.
yeah.
I'm dead
Like
serious.
that, huh?
Houston is diverse over here. I mean, we have a lot of people out here running for office, and I just, obviously it's a big, big deal. Just to be serious, I really, really hope that he's able to like make an impact and truly make a difference, to where everyone like is so thrilled to have such a candidate that's really standing behind his words, and hopefully he'll be supported internally to get those things done. Right? Unfortunately, we know
Yeah.
all too well that in American politics that you could be hopeful, and you could want to accomplish a lot of things, but if those against you don't want those things to be passed, they can really block you from that, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
It's really actually gross. As a matter of fact, today, KO2 News posted a thing that the Houston Police Department. So I need totally take this away about the Houston's not as racist. Very racist here too. It said that the Houston Police Department it went out to the NYPD saying, "Hey guys, if you don't want to be a cop there, you have a home here because you're basically Mamdani
Mm.
one gross. Come on down here." And that what is going on? Like I really
Yeah, man.
shocked me. It shocked me, really jarred me because I thought Houston was better than that, but it was just really I don't know who posted that, but that's wild, and I'm gonna find out more
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
information
yeah.
about that. But it just tells you the state of the United States, and it tells you that division is still the number one tactic to conquer us all,
Yeah, man.
and it's
Yeah.
really, really important to dehumanize certain cultures when you want to take from them, and that's what's happening.
I'll say it in you use your comedy, bro, as a bridge, man. You know what I'm saying? You bring different communities in, you make fun of different communities, you bring communities together, and you really talk about how we're actually more similar than different, right? Like, like do, I know I mean I'm in LA. I live in East LA. A lot of the homies over here, bro, they rock with you, bro. And it's like all the organizers, all my activist homies, like they rock with you, bro. You know what I mean? They love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Do you see yourself as a progressive comedian, as a political comedian, or just, hey, I'm a comedian just telling jokes, and like you may like some, you may not, but like how do you see yourself in that way, bro?
It's a really, really good question. Thank you for bringing that up. I am not a political comedian. What I do is, I think Carlin said this, and I always loved it. I said, my job as a comedian is, imagine me at a cafe having a cup of coffee. I got a notepad and a pen, and I'm just observing. I'm just taking notes.
Mm.
No, I'm mad, I'm upset, sad. Yes, I feel those things. I'm a human being. But to have full clarity, to see the entire landscape, is just sit there and observe. And the duty of a comedian is, of course, to make you laugh, but also to make you think. And
Mm.
additionally, it's to say the thing out loud that everyone is thinking, but nobody's saying. That's what I think.
Mm.
So this is my part, a very small part, but a big foundation of my process. And it's not, it's just what I've had to carry the last 3 years. Again, in the bucket of someone that's in this position, that's a Palestinian, has a TV show that's never been done before, that's talking about immigration, asylees, the Palestinian experience, while Gaza is being obliterated, and every
Yeah.
institution on planet Earth is calling it a genocide, which it is. And you have to kind of like, what are you gonna say, Mo? This is all I feel all the time. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
The best tool is my art form, and specifically the
Yeah.
TV show itself, and then the new stand-up special Wild World is essentially a bookend to the series. It's one of those things like you see the character what he goes through firsthand, and then additionally you see through the stand-up what I had a little peek, a little peek inside to see what I was going through while making the show, what I was going through emotionally, what people are thinking in the South on a global level. People were saying out loud on social media, in like cafes and restaurants around the world. This is what I was trying to capture in that special. So no, I'm not
Yeah.
a political comedian, but I surely, I'm not going to shy from certain commentary that is, I feel like, a requirement of a great comedian.
You ended your special with you going back to Palestine, bro. And I thought that was one of the most beautiful, beautiful videos. And to connect that to a comedic video, right? Like
Yeah.
you you turned trauma and pain and used and showed that, as a way to let people know, your experience. And I thought that was incredible.
That was in the second special, and if you
Was it the
look
second
at
one?
it, yeah, it's in Muhammad in Texas at the end, and I recreated that in season 2 in the mosque. You're talking about the mosque story of going
Yeah,
back to Boudin, and if
correct.
you look at all the specials, I literally called everything that's going on. If you look at the first one, The Vagabond, that's on Netflix, you see me talking about Russia, Ukraine. You see me talking about Palestine. You see me talking about crossing the borders. It was like early stuff, right? And
Yeah,
border stuff, immigration stuff. And the next one, it talks about Muhammad in Texas. I have the backdrop of the Mexican wall between America and Texas, and the apartheid wall in the West Bank on each side. It's there. That's my set pieces.
yeah,
Whether you got it or you didn't is there, and it has the Banksy artwork on it, which mimics what's in Bethlehem. So those are there, and I'm talking about Mexicanos. I'm talking about border crossing. I'm talking about them building a wall. I'm talking about Israel Palestine. I'm talking about it very clearly, and even in the opening. So I'm 100% foreshadowing everything that's happening, and it's happened. So that tells you that I've been really observant. It's not like, oh, I'm
yeah,
so much better than
yeah,
everybody else. No, I'm just paying attention and I'm listening and I'm writing it down.
yeah.
That's what
And
I'm.
for better or for worse, man,
But that's
history
what I
repeats
do.
itself. And if we don't
Yes.
change it, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I said that
That's what you
in Wild
captured.
World. I said history repeats itself time and time again. Time is undefeated, time is fleeting, and time flies, and you can never make up time. You can never go back in time, and you can never make up time. You can make time, but
Yeah.
there's never enough time. So that's like, yeah. So,
Orale.
orale.
And now you're a father.
Mm,
You're a father.
yeah.
How old's your little one?
I am a father, yes. He's almost 2. He's a month away from being 2 years old.
And I would say is how has being a father. I'm 40. I'm 43, and I
Yeah.
don't have kids. But I'm the oldest of 6. All my brothers and sisters they got kids. My mom's the oldest of 14, so I grew up with a big family. But I don't have kids. And my question to you, brother, is how has being a father changes perspective on comedy, on life? How has that experience been?
Well, the mom raises him, so no, I'm just kidding. It's amazing. she My wife is incredible, bro. How she is with my son, it's like really just a massive blessing. But we're almost the same age. I'm the youngest of 6, by the way. So
Oh,
you're the oldest of 7, I'm the youngest of 6. Interesting little twist there. But never too late, bro. Never too late. Always find the right partner
yeah,
to have it with, and I wish you do. If you actually choose to and want to want to have that experience, I can definitely tell you it's life changing. You hear this cliche thing, oh, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, but really, really has transformed me. Like for me, we've had some really, really, really tough losses in my family. I lost my uncle. I lost my brother suddenly before season
mm,
1 came, just out of nowhere. COVID, pulmonary embolism. Nobody saw it coming. And then shortly after that, my uncle passed, and then my aunt passed, and then before I filmed Wild World, I lost my sister. You know, so it just was one of those things that it was like so much tragedy that struck our hearts, and then having my son come, it was just like from God, you know. It was just like, here you go. There's another spirit
Yeah.
to brighten
Yeah.
up the family. And before my sister passed, that was her great joy, is hanging out with him.
Yeah. You know, brother, I'm on tour right now. Our band is
Yeah.
on tour, and we're doing a Day of the Dead tour.
Oh,
So it's
sick.
called Hasta la Muerte. Yeah, it's called
Hasta la
Hasta la Muerte,
muerte. Yeah.
Hasta la Muerte. And it's a love song that I wrote that talks about loving someone even in death. You know what I mean? Like that, even in death, I love you. Like I love you, death and beyond. And we created this whole production, but really to uplift the fact that our ancestors
Yes.
have been practicing remembering, their families and loved ones who have passed. And my father passed 10 years ago this year, but he's not dead
No.
because I talk about him all the time.
Yep.
He was a carpenter, did
Beautiful.
Jesus work. You know what I mean? He loved Sylvester Stallone movies. He loved Rambo. And my dad always told me, hey, get your hands out of your pockets. Like when you're ready to work, get your hands out of your pockets. So like I think about my dad all the time. I tell his stories all the time. So he's not really gone. And as long as you, brother, share your stories of your family, your sister, your loved ones, bro, they
Exactly.
ain't gone. And that's how
Exactly.
they stay alive. And and I
Exactly.
thank you for sharing that story, man.
Yeah,
I
no, of
appreciate
course.
that, man.
It's a big deal, and I agree with that sentiment. And it just like it has happened naturally in my storytelling, where my father comes up, and the fact that he exists in the Netflix series through the doc footage at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't seen episode 8. And what are you waiting for? But it was just uh, it's such a like powerful thing that happened naturally, of telling that story, not only of my father, who was a big part of it, but also, my uncle, recreating scenes of my uncle, and my beloved grandmother. And it's like life lessons that are baked into like dipping
Yeah.
hummus. You know what I mean? The process of how to dip
Hey.
hummus is showing you of how to live your life. Like there's a metaphor.
Yeah.
So it's just so much beauty. I couldn't agree with you more. And always thinking of them, keeping them alive in that way, keeping their spirits alive, keeping alive in those that have come after you as well is very important. Because my mentor told me, he goes, how easily can you be erased? He says,
Mm.
he got me one time. He said, name your great grandfather from your father's side. And I had names, but I didn't know who was who. And he goes, how
Yeah.
sad is that? This is the lineage you come from. How easily are you erased? And
Yeah.
it just hit me hard. And then he told me like things you could do to really be, never forgotten, is like impact society in such a beautiful way through your
Yeah. Yeah.
artistry, through inventions,
Yeah.
innovation,
Yeah.
or be just a great human being that walks this earth. Those are the two. And there's like, there's subcategories within those things too, but that's how you stay relevant and always in the minds. Like my whole thing is that Rumi, the great poet Rumi, has been dead over 1,000 years, but he's always tweeting. He's tweeting every day. Guy's got a Twitter account. you know, he's been dead over a
I want.
thousand years. Somebody's like Rumi, tweeting him every day, all of his quotes. That's kind of dope.
Hey, that's real, bro. And you have now created things that will live beyond you, man, which is a beautiful thing. I've written songs that are gonna outlive me. You know what I mean? I feel like that
Beautiful.
that is my gift. Like if I don't have kids, I'm gonna have these songs that are gonna live. And then
A
there's this
100%.
elder that told me one time. He said, I'm gonna share it with you because he shared it with me. He said, hey man, he's like, you're a storyteller, and he said
Yeah.
storytellers sit by the fire. Storytellers sit by the fire, and sometimes you're gonna, because you sit so close to the fire, you might get burned,
Mm.
right? And you might want to get away because it's so hot. And he says,
Yes.
stay there. He said, stay there, build the callus, get used to it, so you can sit closer to the fire and continue telling more stories. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
And
That's
a lot of
beautiful.
times as artists, bro, like we share stories and we get criticized, we get critiqued. Hey, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about that? And I know, bro, like my parents were undocumented when they came. Like, how do we talk about it? And through my art,
Yeah,
through my
absolutely.
songs,
Through
through my
through our art, through
performance,
songs, through whatever platform that you
And I
have.
hear that.
Yeah, we have to do that, and to just to see. the complete loss of empathy and humanity in these things, and to see these fucking people like get off on arresting these people is so in front of their children in schools, and
Yeah.
it's just so gross, bro.
Brother Mo, you have gone through personal and, personal obstacles, political obstacles, family obstacles, immigration obstacles. What is the thing that keeps you going? What's the fire in the belly, brother? Like, what's something that gives you hope right now?
It is absolutely true that I've been um, through many struggles, emotional, philosophical, physical, emotional, family loss, just, on a many levels, I felt that. And, you know, you always have to keep pushing. Like, there's no real explanation because many times I'd want to, like, I don't know about this, or I feel it, and those little whispers that come in, they just make me stronger, to be honest. So
Mm,
every time a low hits, it's very important to feel it and to understand it because you don't want to be back there again. And you'll be tested and tested over and over again. And it's very, very important to push through those things and persevere and to make sure that you're better on the other side. Not angrier, not full of hatred, not bitter, not upset. To be honest with you, I've never felt freer in my whole life. Doing a
mm,
show like mine, I feel like, particularly like season two, what I was able to accomplish with that and do, and the story I was able to tell, feels like I fulfilled a big purpose in my life, and all the struggle and just filth that I had to go through to get that story out. It's really, at some points, I fathom it. I'm like, wow, I can't even. I don't even. It's just I don't even believe it sometimes. Like I was able to pull that off. So it's really, really important to not quit. That's when you're not going to make it, is when you quit. That's my mentor always taught me. And my inspiration is always my family, always knowing that it could be a lot worse. Whatever I'm going through is not as bad what
yeah,
somebody else might be going through. And gratitude. That is
yeah,
one of the biggest things. Understanding gratitude and being so grateful for what you do have, and so many people don't have. And it's
yeah,
such a like responsibility to put your big boy pants on and keep going. And for me,
yeah.
it's faith, family, and those relationships that I hold with my family and the divine is what keeps me strong. Because it's hard out here. It is hard, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not. But that's really what motivates me is like being able to tell stories, being able to do things that I dreamt of as a little 9-year-old kid. Now I have the opportunity to do them. So
Yeah.
because you got to grind and get through them. Those emotional and spiritual and physical hurdles that you have to go through is part of the growth, and that's gonna make it so much sweeter when you accomplish what you want in your life.
So, Mo, this has been an amazing conversation. You're a busy dude. You're el oso peligroso, man. You know what I mean? You got a lot. So I want to share with you one one piece, and then I'd like to ask you where people can find your information, what's coming up, and what's next. But I want to share with you a thing I wrote a long time ago, and back then it wasn't crazy, but when I say it today, sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. So it goes like this: From Gaza to Honduras, Guatemala, Vietnam, I'm dropping this verse for all those who drop bombs, those creating borders and taking away my mom. Border children be rising, and we rise to this song. You know what I'm saying, brother? So I say that to you, man, as someone I see out there doing the work. I appreciate you, man, from artist to artist. You know what I mean? Gracias, man. And where can people find you? What's coming up? What's next from Mo Amer, man?
First of all, that was beautiful. I can't just jump into like what's next for me. That was really, really beautiful, man. Wow, it was very, very powerful. You can find me on Instagram, Mo Amer. It's Moamer. It's just my name. Really, I want everybody to check out, season two of Mo and the new special I just dropped, Wild World. It's something that my soul is in both of those things in my work, but really just matured in such a beautiful way over the last 3 to 5 years. So I think they're incredible, and I'm very, very excited for everyone to see it, especially if those that really understand what's happening and those who don't understand what's happening. These are both very, very important pieces of art that I would love people to see. I mean, next I'm working on it. I'm cooking. I'm working on a movie. I'm gonna be touring again. Just writing, man, constantly writing. Remember, writing is
Hell yeah,
your
bro.
best savings account. It's the best savings account. Is writing. That's it.
There it is, bro. You need to do a master class, bro.
I need a
Put that
master
on the
class.
list.
No, I will. All right, we'll do it. Master class.
Brother Mo, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
This is the National Immigration Law Center's podcast,
beautiful.
and the work that you've done, like your storytelling, bro, is a beautiful, bright light. There's a saying like stars only shine in the dark, and in these times, bro, we shine it, man. And that's how we see each other, man. And your work and your comedy and the way you use trauma and convert it into storytelling, bro. Thank you, and I can't wait to see what's next, brother. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Much love, man. I really appreciate you.
Familia, that's what you call a beautiful conversation. I don't want to tell him while he was on the screen, but Mo's probably one of my favorite comedians out there right now. His work is incredible. His shows are incredible. His stand up, and it kind of goes to show. I think my big takeaway is like when you're authentic with your story, you connect so much more. Be authentic with your story, man. I think everybody out here, especially on the Instagram world, is trying to fake it, flaunt it, and put something out that's actually not you. Be you, be authentic, and then share that with the world and see how much you shine. And now I want to bring up the brother Raja Wala, who's the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Advocacy at NILC, who's going to share a little bit more about his thoughts on the conversation with Mo and also just on the work that NILC is doing. Raja, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you so much, Hector.
You heard the conversation with Mo. One question I asked you: what's one of the takeaways you're gonna have from some of the things that he put out there from his sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really for me the power of story, right? And Mo's story himself is so powerful and has been an inspiration for me as well. Palestine and the cause of Palestine has been near and dear to my heart. It was like the reason that I became a political guy. It was the inspiration for becoming a human rights lawyer. But also more generally, you asked Mo, is he consider himself a political activist, right? And he said, no, I just tell stories and I make them funny, and that's what translates. And I think that really is something that I've seen borne out in our advocacy time and again. We think, okay, we're just going to win the argument, and that'll be the end of the story. But no, you gotta win hearts and minds, right? And we know from our experience, from working on these campaigns, that in order to get at the minds, you got to win the hearts first, right? And really touch people.
That's right.
In the fields.
Yeah, because facts doesn't always do it, man. A lot of times it's who has the better story, and I think comedians do a wonderful job of telling a good story.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Mo is a great example of that. And he's been able to humanize and elevate the immigrant story. So we can actually like see folks, and it's not just this sort of like immigrants are this, but when you tell an immigrant story on TV, you can actually like empathize. You could see them, you could cry with them, laugh with them. That's kind of what the show did for me, man. And it was beautiful, beautiful. You know, we talked a little bit about just the complexity of the immigration system, right? And how that shows up in his show and his comedy. I'd like if you could share a little bit about, the immigration system and coming in the right way. How difficult or how easy is it really when people just say, "Can you just come in the right way?"
Right. Well, there's no easy part of that equation, that's for sure. I've seen the show, and I gotta say, it does a brilliant job. It's not trying to be like realistic per se, but I think it just does a really good job capturing a particular slice of the immigrant experience. I mean, one thing that Mo did touch on that I thought was super important was that there's no singular like immigrant experience. I come from a family of refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants, and they all have their own story. They all have their own struggles. Some have it easier than others, but there's no easy way in. There's no easy path in. And especially in this day and age where immigrants are being demonized, where it's increasingly hard to get any semblance of justice if you're an immigrant in this country. And heck, even if you're not an immigrant, you can be an American citizen that's black or brown or maybe speaks with an accent. You're liable to be picked up, without a warrant, potentially abused, potentially thrown in jail. And so these are dark times for sure. And I think that in these dark times, we need moments of levity and lightness, right? And I think that's why we have, comedy, and it exists to really kind of give us that sense of, yes, this is dark, heavy stuff, and we can make light of it, and we can get through and see that light at the end of the tunnel if we're able to just kind of, really be honest about what we're seeing, both the good and the bad.
Yeah. Gracias, brother. Thank you so much, man. Is there anything you can share about the work you're doing right now with NILC, with the strategy and partnerships, people you're working with, allies? What is NILC looking at doing over the next couple of months in regards to what's going on in the country's immigration system?
Well, really the way that we're thinking about this is a fight for our democracy against authoritarianism. And, as Kika, our president and CEO, likes to say, the path to authoritarianism is being built on the back of immigrant communities. And it starts with immigrants, but it's not going to end with immigrants. And so what we've done at NILC is build out a democracy defense initiative that really gets at the key levers of authoritarianism and what we can do to stop that. And that's going to require partnerships with not just immigrant communities on the ground across the country, but also friends, family members, and allies in our sister and brother movements to be able to stand up and say, yes, this is an attack on immigrants now, but an attack on immigrants is an attack on all of us as Americans. And so that's what we're really focused on here at NILC. We've got a lot of other great programs that would love to get into more in later episodes, but just wanted to leave you with that tidbit.
All right. And people can go to NILC.org. Not com, everybody. NILC.org. NILC.org. And they have Know Your Rights information. They have the campaigns they're working on. So definitely check them out for more information. Raja, thank you so much, brother. Gracias. Familia, thanks for listening to this episode of NILC's Freedom to Thrive podcast. Resistance, justice, resilience. To learn more about the work NILC is doing, visit NILC.org. And don't forget to subscribe for future episodes.